the past. And what is it, that ancient path, that ancient road? It is just this Noble Eightfold Path. That is right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So these 8 paths are actually classified into 3 categories: wisdom, conduct, and meditation, as mentioned previously. So first, the wisdom portion will be of the right view and the right intention. And the conduct will be of the right speech, action, and livelihood. Meditation will be the last remaining 3: effort, mindfulness, and concentration. So hearing this right effort, right mindfulness, everything is right. What exactly is right? So I would like y'all to take out your camera and scan this QR code, and then after scan this QR code, then tell me what is your opinion on like what is right. Or y'all can actually key in the link given in the chat. Do you have any issue with the chat, with the link? Yeah, no worry, it's anonymous, so nobody can actually see who is the one that said the things. What is right? Like, in your opinion, what does the word right mean to you?
Not left.
Oh, who? Opposite of left, Ye-Keng. Is it you?
Must be Ye-Keng the seaman, huh?
Okay, we have quite a few answers. There are, like, most of the answers there are actually quite close. Like, we have been mentioning things like it's not against the law or not against moral compass, don't hurt others, don't harm others, don't go against your morals, don't make you feel guilty and stuff. And let me bring you all back to the slides. So what is right? Right is the sense of being correct morally and have a pointed instruction on how to live. So let me just pose a question here for all of you all to think about. Does being not wrong equals to being right? Like, you don't have to answer this question immediately, but just keep this question in mind as we go through the subsequent slides. So the very first one is the right view, samadhi. It is the place in the first of the path because it's the one that's steering us in the correct direction. It's like our GPS in our life. And how does this GPS work is that it works on the foundation of us understanding the Four Noble Truths, and then knowing that all our actions will bring about wholesome and unwholesome karma. And Buddha has actually listed out 10 causes of unwholesome karma. So what are the causes of unwholesome or wholesome karma? For wholesome, it will be the equanimity and renunciation, compassion and loving kindness, wisdom and the releasing of the concept self, which is like everything we talk about is like, oh, this is mine, is my feeling, is this my item, I want this, I want that. So everything is about me, I. And using wisdom, we want to release this thinking of like, this is mine. And then the cause of unwholesomeness will be of greed, hatred, and delusion. In case y'all don't know, the greed, hatred, and delusion are 3 out of 10 of the unwholesome karma. So after that will be the right intention. First, like, there's 3 components of it. First is the intention of harmlessness. What is it? Like, it has a broad aim of not causing pain, loss, or destruction to any living being. As mentioned by some of you all, like, we don't want to cause harm to other people. But at the bare minimum, what we are trying to do is to avoid causing harm to other human beings. How we can practice that is by compassion and loving kindness, also known as karuna and loving and metta. This can be practiced on two different levels. The first is when we wish others to be well and happy, and the deeper level is when we wish them to be free from suffering. One key difference to me is that when we wish others to be well and happy, it's more on the surface level, and it's more on the material level that, oh, I wish that you are happy today, I wish that you are well, you are healthy and you are not sick. But when we say that we wish you to be free from suffering, it's more of the deeper sense where we wish you to be free from suffering, as in like we wish you to reach nirvana fast, like we wish to see you at the other end of the bank. Yeah. If you got any question, y'all can just feel free to stop me in the presentation. The second is the intention of the non-ill will, also known as the good will. What is it? It's actually the giving up of being angry or like having punishing reaction towards others or self. And in case if we have such attitudes, we will resolve to not feeding them and try to cut them off as fast as we can. And that's when we practice mindfulness in this whole path. This whole process of cutting cutting all the ill wills away can be practiced through loving kindness, which is metta, where we radiate selfless love for other beings around us. So it doesn't limit to like just like human beings or like animals. You know, when we do dedication of merits, we are actually spreading this love to other sentient beings around us as well. So practicing this will actually release the tension like in our body, and it will actually drive it out of the system, like drive all the ill will out of the system. However, this is not really like repression where I hold everything in, or I feel angry, I feel hatred toward this person, then I hold it in, I pump it up inside myself, because repression actually drive it inwards, right? And remember the first point where we say we don't want to have any punishing reaction towards ourselves as well. So because once we start repressing all these emotions, it will bring about negative impact on our own emotional wealth, which is not what we want. What we want is to actually really cut it out and really drive it out of the system, instead of like not showing it, but it still stays inside our system. The last one is the intention of renunciation. This is a bit deeper, so I will just briefly talk about it. So this is founded on the non-attachment on the worldly experience based on right view. So as we know, the right view is like, the more important thing about the right view is the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. The second point of the renunciation is that we will see the suffering embedded in this experience of our life, which it runs coherently with the first truth, whereby the truth of suffering. And Buddha actually listed out like different types of suffering, and we actually do see all this suffering embedded in our life. So after we see that our life is like full with suffering, right, what we are actually hoping for is to be able to feel the happiness and peace after we don't chase after this type of pleasure in life, or resisting the pain that the life brings us, like the life brings upon us. So this is what it means by the renunciation, which is one step closer to attaining nirvana. So these two are actually the category of wisdom. And here is just one scenario that I want to bring across. So if I bring an elderly across the road, it's so that I can gain good merits. Am I right or am I wrong? Yeah, you can.
Does anybody have an answer to it?
Yeah, you can open the chat to talk in the chat, or you can just unmute yourself to share.
Ye Keng said right action, wrong intention. Oh.
So are you right or are you wrong, Ye Keng?
Can Ye Keng unmute your mic? Chong said right and wrong.
Well, how can it be right and wrong at the same time?
Okay, Ye Keng, I think I unmuted you already. You want to elaborate a bit?
Ye Keng a bit hang there.
Oh shit!
There. Oh,
That's right.
Yeah. So
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you have the wrong intention of like you help the old lady cross the road, is because you want to gain good karma. It's not like you really want to help. So it's a wrong intention. But then, no matter what the intention is, right, that action is still a good action. So it is still considered a right action, I feel.
So right action but wrong intention lah. Is that what you're trying to say? Oh. Okay, I muted you already. Chao Hong, let's unmute you. Chao Hong, elaborate.
Same as 一个啊。
哪里有这样 same 的 copy and paste？
As in, it's right and wrong, right? As in right action and wrong intentions, like what you say.
Okay. But
so,
Chevy said it's right.
Okay, can Sherry share why is it right?
Okay. Chevy, you're muted.
Okay, so basically by being an elderly across the road, I feel that I did the right thing because sometimes they can be lonely or they're vulnerable to road accidents. So by helping them across the road, it makes them feel safe.
Yeah, you missed the point already lah, Chevy.
Which one?
No, Chevy, the point is right, if you help elderly cross the road, right? But then you do it because you want to gain merit. It's not because you want to help the lady. Is it correct or not?
Yeah.
I feel that either right or it's either wrong.
By the way, Chevy, you can't hear you. You damn soft.
Oh, okay, so sorry. So basically, I will most likely gain good merits by helping them.
We still can't hear you, Chevy.
Chevy, try to bring the mic closer to your mouth. Okay, I think Chevy said that you'll still gain good merits. Yeah.
Okay, so you all remember the very first question I posed across, like, does being not wrong equivalent to being right? Yeah, so when we bring that situation into, like when we bring this question into this situation, right, it's like what you're saying is not wrong and it's also like not right at the same time. Because the action of bringing the elderly across the road is actually correct. It's actually good, like what everyone mentioned, but we are actually doing it for like the good merits instead of the habit of like me wanting to do good actions, you know. Yeah, so in my opinion, right, I feel that when we are doing something that is not wrong, it doesn't mean that we are right. So I cannot answer this question perfectly. Maybe like we can get Bante to share the next time or maybe later. Yeah, but in my opinion, I feel that if we are doing something out of the wrong, like there's a reason why right view and right intention is being placed in the first two of the Noble Eightfold Path, because it's the one that's guiding our action. So even though your action might be right, in my opinion, if you start off the action with a wrong intention, the result might be still positive. You might still bring about the end result of like the elderly get across the road safely, but maybe you might not gain as much good merit as just out of the goodwill of doing it instead of wanting it. Remember, in intention, there's one more part where we say we want to, no, in the right view, there's one where we say we want to get rid of self. So if you want to gain good merits for yourself, then in a way that is wrong already. Yeah, so in my opinion, it's like what most of you all said, it's not right, but it's also not wrong at the same time. So after wisdom, we have the conduct. Yeah, the first conduct is the right speech. The very first one is false speech, abstinence from false speech, whereby we don't tell lies. And if you all don't know, this is actually part of the 5 precepts. The second one is the abstinence from hurtful speech. So what is hurtful speech? It doesn't just mean like, oh, I hate you, the content of the speech is hurtful, but it's more like the tone matters too. You know, like if you are trying to be sarcasm and then the person get your sarcasm and they felt hurt by your speech, so in that case, it's also part of hurtful speech. So it's not just like the content. I can phrase everything nicely, but I talk in the tone of like sarcasm and then people know that I don't mean my words, then in a way it's still hurting people, so it still falls under the hurtful speech. And next is the divisive or the slanderous speech, whereby we start spreading rumors or we start spreading non-truth information about people or about things where it might cause disagreement or hostility among people or group of people. So like I can go to A and tell A, oh, this happened, but I don't know whether it happens, but I just hear it. Then I just start spreading, oh, if people tell me this happened, and then this thing just starts spreading, and then people like just don't like this person or just start feeling negative emotion towards this person or this incident. And lastly is idle speech. So one simple example of idle speech is gossip, whereby we start gathering in groups and then we start talking about nonsense that it doesn't have any good purpose at all. Like it's not really no good purpose, but it's just no purpose. So we just gather in group, like, cause it's sort of like wasting time. Yeah, so to have right speech, as we practice right speech, we are supposed to abstain from all these. And all these four are part of the 10 unwholesome karma. Next is the right action. I will give you all a chance. There is 3 right action that we should do, and it's in the 5 precepts. Who can answer? I believe there is a previous sharing on 5 precepts before, so most of us should know.
Let's arrow. Elon, what's the first precept? I heard I'll meet you.
Hey, Elon. You can say all 3 if you know.
Abstain from lying, right?
No, action. Lying is the speech, yeah.
It's from the sexual misconduct one, right?
Okay, that's one.
Killing.
Okay. What's the last one?
Stealing.
Okay, very good. Yeah, totally correct. So what Elon has mentioned is these 3 actions from the 5 precepts, which is the abstinence from destruction of life, which is killing, taking what is not given, which is stealing, and sexual misconduct. I will not further elaborate because it has already been elaborated before. And just remember that these are in the 5 precepts. And if we do these actions, we are actually doing the unwholesome karma, which is part of the 10 list of unwholesome karma. So we have actually covered the whole 10 list. The first 3 is the greed, hatred, delusion, followed by the 4 speech and the 4 different and the 3 different actions. And the last one, right out of the right livelihood. So what is it is that we are supposed to abstain from occupation that will cause harm in any ways, and we are supposed to obtain our wealth through proper and legal ways. And then Buddha actually listed out 5 specific occupations where we should avoid. The first one is the trading in weapons. Second is the living beings. Third is meat. Fourth is intoxicant, and the 5th is in poison. Why these 5 in general? Because remember in right view we said that right view and right intention, we said we don't want to like cause harm to others, we don't want to cause harm to self as well and stuff like that. Yeah, if you are part of these 5 different traits, in a way you are directly or indirectly causing harm to others or even self. Like if you are trading weapon, if some accident like happens in your like weapons or poison, if some accident happens in your warehouse, then what happens? Your workers might die, you might die. If you are trading living beings or meat, you're actually killing the living being for meat, or you're actually causing harm to the living being. Why? Because you need to like maximize the space you need to keep the living being, because in a way you're viewing them as like inventory. So you want to minimize the space used to keep them. And what happens is that you will start to constrain them in small spaces whereby you can maximize the amount of living being you can keep in one area. So if we are part of these few traits, we are actually causing harm to mostly other people, but in a way self as well. And intoxicants.
Yeah, Chao Hong got a question. He asked, is opening a restaurant that sells meat considered as trading meat?
In my opinion, it is. Yeah, so like even if you want to open a restaurant that like sell meat, or you want to open a bar to, even though your intention might be good, but in a way, so to see how. Okay, I'll answer one thing at one time. So the first one is the trading meat in a restaurant, right? In my opinion, I feel that we should not do it. Like as Buddhists, we should not do it, but we cannot go around and preach other people, say, hey, I think we should all stop selling meat in our restaurant. Hey, I think we should stop selling alcohol in bar. Because in like, how do I phrase it? Because in my opinion, I feel that when we preach something or like when we share something, we are supposed to share something that we can practice, and not like, oh, because the theory says like that, then I go around telling people that we should all do that, but I'm not practicing it at all. So I'm not at the level where I can tell you we should not open restaurant to like trade meat and stuff like that. But I think like if you really have to open a restaurant that sell meat, maybe you can follow the what is it called, the 3 different type of meat where Buddhists like should follow by. The one where first one is not killed for you, then the second one is like you don't see it being killed or you don't hear it being killed, and then the last one is you don't kill it yourself. So if you really have no choice but to actually go into this type of business as a lay person, then I think we can just follow this path. Then next one is NTUC how. NTUC how. If you can convince the whole world to don't eat these type of things, then we won't have an issue anymore, you see? Yeah, but in a way it's not realistic because we can't. Like we can just control this small group of people. The most we can do is like convince all the Buddhists or like make all the Buddhists around do not eat meat or like do not consume meat or do not consume like alcohol. But we cannot convince the rest of the world to actually do it with us, because in a way, unless everyone follows strictly, it's not really convincing to like tell people, hey, it's actually not good, but on the other hand, someone from your community is still doing it. Yeah, manpower company how, like maid and worker. In my opinion, like when Buddha mentioned the trade in living being, right? I believe or like I think what he's mentioning is like slavery instead of like maid or workers. Because for maid and workers, I feel like in a way they are working for you because they are gaining something out of you as well. But if you trade living beings, you are viewing them as items instead of like a person that you are holding a trade with. So in a way, like for example, if I'm a maid company, so in my opinion, the maid is actually having a trade with you, whereby you are paying them for their service instead of like you just buy them over and they belongs to you. So in a way, the trading in living beings, I believe, when Buddha mentioned it, is the slavery, whereby after you sell it to a owner, then they won't have any human rights anymore. But however, if you're talking about maid or worker, I think it's fine. Technically, medicine are intoxicants. Yes, I think medicine are intoxicants, but if I'm not wrong, under the 5 precepts of we should not intake intoxicants, right? There's one is unless it's for medicinal purposes. If I'm not wrong, like y'all can just correct me if I'm wrong. But if I'm not wrong, they actually share that if the intoxicant is actually a medicine for you, then you can take it. But that's why there's this dosage, like there's this recommended consumption dosage. So if you overdose, then in a way it's taking intoxicants. But if you are just taking within the dosage limit as prescribed to you by someone that's legal, then I think it's fine. Okay, any other question? Yeah, and the intention definitely do matters. It's like if you know that you are taking the cough syrup for medicine to cure yourself, then yes, you should. But if you're talking about taking it to like get high or whatever, then it's definitely not. Because under the intention, you're actually causing harm to yourself. You all can actually unmute your mic and talk, then it's easier for other people to hear, as I feel.
I think like when it comes to the issue of trading in living beings, I think as of now, we are still very much, it's a very complex situation for sure. And I think what Bernie said is true, because increasingly we have also heard that even for domestic helpers, there can be claims that they were trafficked or they had very poor conditions. And I think increasingly because of the whole circuit breaker issue and how a lot of migrant workers have been getting COVID, right? There has been a lot of talk about the migrant workers' rights. Are we treating them well? Are we exploiting them? But I think these questions, they are more of like it has to do with the capitalistic nature of the world. Let's just put it that way. And I think that it's very hard for us to control these major and greater forces out there. But I think for ourselves, right, where we can, we try to abide by the right livelihood because there are greater forces at play. For example, like for people who are actually engaging in the direct exploitation of certain workers and stuff. But I guess wherever we can and wherever we can manage, we try not to directly cause these things to happen. But obviously, like, I mean, honestly, like, living in this world today, whatever you do, right, you are indirectly contributing to these exploitations, I have to say, right? Because, for example, if you go H&M and buy some clothes now, then maybe you're contributing to like child laborers working in other countries. But because of how the world is shaped today, right, it's very hard for us to just be like, okay, you know what, I'm just not going to be part of any forces contributing to that, because it's impossible. Like, if you don't want to contribute to any of those forces adding to exploitation of anybody in a global world, right, then I think you have to go to the mountain and stay really. Because, like, you know, you get what I mean, right? Because right now everything's so interconnected. So yes, correct, globalization. So whatever we do, right, confirm someone out there in another country is affected lah. I mean, it's one of the things that happens from our actions lah, but not directly. So I guess while we cannot control what we do and how our actions affect others indirectly, I think we can try to control how they may affect others directly. And this is where right livelihood will come in. But for sure, because of how things are like nowadays, it's very hard to just say, oh, like, I'm innocent, like whatever I do doesn't affect others, because it's impossible lah. But I think this is why we can always make a conscious choice to, wherever we can, try not to make our direct actions harm others. But sometimes there are certain things that we really just cannot control because of the world that we're living today. So I think maybe that's something that we can think of also lah. Like, some things we really like bo pian, but things that we bo pian, right, we just like try to by the right livelihood. Yeah.
See, I think to add on to that, because what I feel is that the Noble Eightfold Path is actually a self-cultivation type of thing. So it's like what just as mentioned, we can't really control about, like, we can't really control the whole world, control the other big powers out there, but what we can control is ourselves. So whatever we do, whatever we can control, we try to abide by this Noble Eightfold Path as much as possible. And one more thing to add, like, this Noble Eightfold Path, although there is an order to it, right, but I just don't want us to actually view it as like, oh, step 1 we have right view, step 2 we have right intention, step 3 we have right action, but rather see it as a whole, because they cannot happen independently out from one another, and you cannot say like that is first, that is second. But I think why is mentioned in this order is because it's of priority, in my opinion, because like the very first priority, it's not the very first step, but the one with the most priority is right view, because without right view, you are setting your direction wrongly, and then most likely you will end up in a different ending as per what Buddha has mentioned, which is nirvana. So that's why I think he put it as the first one, because it's of the utmost priority, instead of like it being the first step. But I think we should change our view in terms of like it is the higher in the priority level, then followed by the intention, speech, action, and livelihood. Okay, y'all got any other questions? No? Okay, if y'all got no question, if y'all got no question, then I have a scenario here again. So what if I saw someone doing something wrong and then I go and tell my friends about it? Yeah, then am I right or am I wrong?
Macro say wrong. Macro, do you want to further elaborate about it?
Because like you like kind of like backstab the guy. You kinda backstab the guy for what he did wrong. You kinda backstab him by telling everybody like gossip like that. And it just was a script.
So Lance also say it's wrong. Anybody else want to further elaborate this question?
I can have Chevy to explain about why is it right as a form of whistleblowing.
So I put right because for whistleblowing, because like let's say you see something, doing something wrong or doing something deceptive, then I went to tell my friends about what he did, as a like ask them to stay refrain from doing anything associated with the person who is in the wrong. Then I feel that what I did right be as wrong because it's like leaking out information which I'm not supposed to do. So like leaking out secrets.
Okay. And Ye Keng say, see intention. What do you mean by see intention? Like, you know, what if it's just a daily life, you know, like every day you just see something happen, then you, hey, I tell you, this person go NTUC never wear mask today. You know, like this kind of thing.
I feel right, like it's like, okay, it depends on the situation and the intention itself. It's like, if the intention of like go and tell someone or something like that is like to flame the person, right? Then I think it's not right. But then if you see someone that never wear mask, then the first thing you should do, right, is to first tell the person itself, and then after that, right, you can tell other people so that as to warn other people saying that like this is not a right action. You shouldn't follow. Like just like what the rest of them has said, like whistleblowing and yeah.
Okay, thank you. So in my opinion, I feel that yes, the intention and everything is very important because you know, like what we say, everything works hand in hand together with each other. So firstly, right, if you want to whistleblow, like if you want to mention to, okay, for example, if you are in a like a military or something like that, then you see someone doing that something that's wrong and it might cause harm to other people, and then you go and report it to your superior, then it's in a form of whistleblowing. So what I feel is that when we do the action, we should actually think about like, okay, so if I tell this person, can this person actually go and correct this action or not? So if the person I tell is like my bunkmate, where he can't do anything about it, like because you know we are of the same rank, we cannot go and correct that person, or like we can't even go and like tell him that he's in the wrong because we are of no higher authority. Then I feel it falls under the idle speech because it's really of no good purpose. Like you just want to tell your friend because you saw something and then you just want to let it out. Yeah, but if you're informing of someone to a higher authority, like if you see someone stealing out in the public, then you call the police, then I feel it's correct. Because from your right view, you know that it's a wrong action, then you are informing someone of a higher authority that can actually do something about this situation. Yeah, but if you just poke your friend beside you at a supermarket and you say, hey, you see that guy, he's stealing it. Then, you know, like, what can you do? So that's one. And another one is what Len said, if he's wrong, just tell him so. So if we want to go and tell someone that he's doing wrong, right? And then that's when right speech will fall in place, whereby we should really be mindful about what we say to him because we don't want to hurt him. Why? One is because it falls under the right speech, but another one is if he is like of those extremists, like you make him feel uncomfortable, then he will start to like beat you up or threaten you, and you start to cause harm to yourself in another way. So I feel like everything works hand in hand with one another, and it's really our cultivation to like how do we handle different situations. I can mention like 10 more what if situations out there, but then we cannot come up with one concrete solution because there's 1,000,001 what if. Okay, then what if this happened? Then what if this happened but that happened? You know, there's a lot of different scenarios, but one important thing is that if we ourselves abide by the Eightfold Path, the right wisdom and like the wisdom and the conduct portion, what I believe is that most of the time we won't get into trouble. So as what I mentioned, I believe this whole path is a self-cultivation. So first we must make sure that we don't get into trouble, then we can go and help others. But if we go out and we want to help others but getting ourselves into trouble, then that is not really right as well. So that is the speech portion. The next one I have is for livelihood. So the example given is a butcher. So my family runs a slaughterhouse as a family business. I have no choice but to take over to support the family. Yeah, it's the same question. Am I right or am I wrong?
Anybody have any opinion about this or answer? Gixing said it's wrong. Gixing, do you want to elaborate more about it?
Yeah, actually this scenario actually happened in real life. I think I heard before some Buddhists, right? He's actually doing a chicken or like take care of a chicken farm and things like that. So his excuse is it's a family business. But I don't think the Buddha would let you would like give an exception like, oh, because it's a family business, then it's okay. Or like if your own business, then cannot, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, let's say it depends on how capable you are. Let's elaborate more also. See how? So he mentioned if you are doing well in, say, as an accountant, lawyer, or doctor, you wouldn't want to. Okay.
Okay, anyone else have anything to share? Okay, so in my own opinion, right, I feel it's like what Gixing has mentioned. One thing is that I firmly believe that there is not really a thing as like I have no choice. You know, you always have a choice. It's just whether you see it or you don't, or whether you want to take it or you don't want to take it. Yeah, so that's the first part. And the second part is definitely true. Like Buddha will not make an exception for you because it's your family business and you have to do it to support your family. It's like what Jolene say, you do you, I do me. Yeah, so like if you really have no other outlet, like what Len said, like if you cannot go out and be a lawyer or an accountant, and like you have no educational background to do something else besides this butcher, yes, you definitely have to do it to support the family, but definitely you must be prepared to face your own, like the fruits of the karma, because you are in this trading of meat, you are killing animals for trade, you are harming animal, you are causing other people to like consume animal and stuff like that. So in a way, you have to face the consequences, but in this current life, there's nothing much you can do about it. Like if you are if you are capable, like you think you can run another business, you can sell away this business and then purchase another business to do. But most of the time, people just want to stay in the safe zone whereby, you know, I know that I'm making money from this career, then I will just stay there. I will not take the risk of starting from zero. And yes, your intention definitely matters. Like if you want to do it to support the family, but it's like what Jolene always says, you do you, I do me. If you really intend to take up this role as to continue this family business, then have to be prepared lah. But like I said, this is just a what if question, and it all runs down to like how much are we willing to give up to really follow this path, or like how strong are we believing in our Buddhist way. Y'all got any final question? Like you can just type your final questions.
Jacob, you raise your hand.
Yeah. I wanted to add on something. Is like what I mentioned about intention, right? It's like first you being a butcher, you kill animals just to support your family, or you have the intention of getting rich. So like you kill enough to sell enough to feed your family only, or you want to like make big money out of it. So the intentions, although both intentions have karma, but the intention of wanting to get rich from killing, right, then the karma will be much deeper lah. Yeah, and then also like maybe if the person is doesn't really have the intention to want to kill, but doesn't have any choice but to do this, right, then what he can do is that he can do it for a while and then support the family, and then at the same time try to seek other ways to earn income from other sources, like investing or rather any other things else. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a very valid point. Like there's like more than one solution to a single problem out there. So your intention definitely matters, but just keep in mind like the moment we do something, the karma is there already. So even though we kill for the intention to like feed the family, or like I kill just enough for the family, the killing is still there. And it's like what Ye Keng has mentioned, it may be lighter than the one where I kill to get rich or like to gain even more money. And to answer Sean's question about what if you got someone else to do it as a stakeholder, then definitely you are part of it also lah. Like although you are not running or doing the action, but you are the one making other people to do it. So it's a shared karma, I believe. Like you and that person will actually have to suffer that consequences together, or like somewhere down the road. Yeah. So actually, that is the end of intention versus action. Yes. Okay, so before I go answer the rest of the question, so like to conclude, right, how I feel this Eightfold Path is like this is a map, and then you are starting, and then you see an end goal. So as this sailor, just imagine this sailor is you lah. Then you see the end goal, right? Seeing the end goal is having the right view, like you know where you are going and you know that this path is correct. So that is the right view in my opinion. Then the second one is I want to get there. So it's the right intention. It's like if I have the right view of like I see this flag here, but I don't have the intention of wanting to get here, but instead I want to get to Tanzania, for example. Then in a way, even though you know where the goal is, but you don't want to get there, you don't have the right intention. So in a way, you won't really reach there, in my opinion. So after that, after having the right intention, right, what's important is the 3 different conduct, where I would say in analogy is like the steering wheel of the ship, whereby the right action, right livelihood, and right speech will actually guide you along this long path before you actually reach your goal. So let's say, for instance, after you travel for like maybe 3 km, then you start to steer towards upwards, which is in a way like you are not having the right intention, you are not having the right speech, right action, or right livelihood because you are not in control of your steering wheel. Yeah, so with the right, these 3 rights, you are actually able to steer yourself back onto path. Like you may have traveled a longer path, but yet you are still on the same route to the ending. If you understand lah. So this is the one final analogy that I want to bring across to let y'all remember this, the first 5 of the Noble Eightfold Path. And just remember it is mainly of like your own cultivation. So there's a lot of things you cannot control out there. So yeah, so you do you first, then if you can, you help others. But if you cannot even help yourself, then there's no reason for you to try to help others because you don't even know how to do it properly yet. Yeah. Any final question?
Actually, Bante, do you have anything to add on?
Yes.
Hi, Bante.
Hi, Bante.
Actually, life is a series of thoughts. So that's why right understanding comes first. If we have right understanding, all we do the right way. That's why right understanding comes first. If we have all the time right thoughts, we may not do any wrong speech or wrong action or wrong livelihood. We don't do such things if we have right thoughts. When right thoughts come according to our right understanding, that's why we need to know what is wholesome and unwholesome, what is right and what is wrong. If there are any thoughts driven by greed, hatred, or delusion, that thoughts are not wholesome. Therefore, we have to know what is wholesome and unwholesome. So, being mindful, then we can recognize all the thoughts, whether it is greed or hatred or delusion. Then, knowing that it is greed, we can avoid. For example, being a butcher, of course, have a hateful thoughts when we doing such a business. If you think of others' life, for example, we have practiced metta, loving kindness, to all living beings, not only your family, because of your family business, not your friends, not yourself, but all living beings. So if someone work for all living beings, that person may not do such things. That's why there's no right killing or right stealing or the wrong thing we can't think as right things, because they are, when we do such things, of course we have either greed hatred or delusion thoughts. So therefore, we have to know what is wholesome and unwholesome when we are living in the present moment. Actually, these facts given by some scholars, Buddhists, and also some scholars have given explanation for these facts. So just you shouldn't think that we should not do that thing, these things. We should not like children, like small children, like I should not do that thing and this thing. We have to think when we, whatever we do, if it is a greed or hatred or delusion driven thoughts, we shouldn't do anything. Then we can purify our mind with that our action. So whatever your career, if it is right things, if it is not harmful to yourself as well as to others, that any action you can be done. So it is not a problem. So for example, you give us that you are having a store or shopping mall like NTUC, whatever restaurant. If that business or if that career not harmful to anyone, yourself as well as others, it is not a problem. So we can't live in this world without engaging other all believers. We are all living together, so we can't separate. We are Buddhist, so we should be Buddhist. Other people are not Buddhist, so we should not live with them. So like some extreme religion teach us like that, but Buddhism, no. We have to live together. So if we are compassion enough, so we are telling them what is right and wrong. We have to live together. So if your store become a Buddhist store, then how? Other people may not come to your store. So when you sell anything that in your shop, you are not killed that animal. Somebody have done that one. But what is your duty? You are just selling that things because of the other faith, other people, those who are wanted that. Your intention to help them, not to kill other people or not to kill any living beings. Your intention is very important. That's why. Otherwise, we can't live in this world. Even you can't go by bus, by plane, because they are not fully vegan, fully vegetarian. Their animal products are there. So we can't live in this world if you think in that manner. So Buddhism is practical, pragmatic religion. So therefore, we have to have good, right understanding. Whatever we do any action, if that action not hate or greed or hatred or delusion driven thoughts, then we can do. That is why we need to be mindful and take easy when we live in this world. So all the time you can practice metta or loving kindness or compassion, such practices, then mean not any such unwholesome thoughts come to your mind. So you all the time can be happy life. Shouldn't complicate our life thinking other unnecessary things. Otherwise, difficult to live. That's why somebody comment we have to go to the mountain to live. Yeah, if we think in that manner, definitely we have to go to mountain because we can't interact with other people, other religion, other races people, because they do not believe like us. They believe that fish made by God, that animal made for to eat us. They think like that. That God created animal for humans to eat. They believe in that manner. So we can't change there, but we can change ourselves. We can change. We can protect our mind. We can't protect other people. That's why I told you in Vesak Day, Buddha never went to convert his neighbor. His neighbor was a butcher. He had a pig farm. Chunda Sukara. Buddha even never interact. He never disturbed to him and go and tell, don't do this thing. You will be born in the hell. Buddha never did that thing because Buddha knew that that person may not understand what I'm talking about. So he has his own view. He's a very a strong belief on that his view. He's a strong attachment to his views, fixed view he has. So he think he is right. Other people are wrong. So we shouldn't bother such people. As long as we compassionate enough that we should teach other people what is good and bad. If they are not ready to listen to us, we should not that we can do ourselves. Thank you. It's my opinion, not Buddha's.
Right, thank you, Bante.
Okay, bye.
Okay. Does anybody has any more questions for Bante or Brother Yu Hong, or anything you want to discuss in this platform?
So if not, right, I think I will try to summarize whatever that I've been sharing and whatever Bante has shared. So as what Bante has shared, the right view or the right understanding is actually the very important one, because everything starts there. Like if you don't have right view, you definitely won't have the right intention or the subsequent view. Yeah, so that is the very important ones. And knowing that, we will know that any thoughts or actions that's out of greed, hatred, and delusion is actually unwholesome, and we should just avoid and abstain from doing them. And whatever we do is really on our own cultivation. So whatever, like, we'll reap our own fruits of karma. So we do not like go around telling people, hey, you should not do this, you should not do that, but we should start from within. We should cultivate ourselves first, because definitely there's like a lot of things that we can do, we can be mindful about, and we can change. And I think lastly, like all our end goals is to the bigger picture is to really reach nirvana together, and we are all in this path together lah. So what I hope is that whenever we are together or we see each other, we can try to help each other by, like giving them a small nudge when you know that they are doing something wrong, or when they are doing something out of the wrong intention and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's the bare minimum we can do for ourselves and for others, like for everyone in this path together. Yeah, if you all got no more questions, then I'll pass the time over to Brother Mingshen to end it off.
Okay, so before we end our sharing, we'll be doing a dedication of merits. But please don't leave after the dedication of merits, as we are going to do a photo taking.